So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 6th Journal Club with ISAR IFSNAs. This journal club is going to be conducted by Dr. Charulata Chatterjee on blastocyst culture using single-step media versus sequential media, and will be moderated by Mr. Gaurav Kant. Let me introduce you the moderator for the day. Mr. Gaurav Kant is a senior embryologist at Akanksha IVF Center. He's also been the co-convener for the SIG in embryology with IFS from 2018 to 20 and is currently the co-convener of the SIG in andrology from 2020 to 22. Mr. Gaurav is also the first Indian embryologist to be certified by two prestigious international societies, the American Society for Reproductive Medicine and the European Society of Human Reproduction and Embryology. He's also been certified by IFS and the Global Fertility Academy. He's done 11 international presentations in ASRM, ISHRE, and IFFS, and has been trained from Barcelona in blastocyst biopsy and cryopreservation. Mr. Gaurav, I hand it over to you to introduce the speaker.
Thanks, Shipra, for the kind introduction. First of all, I want to congratulate Cooper Surgical's IFS, ISAR, and ACE for bringing out this very important and educative program of Journal Club. So before going ahead, I want to discuss about two things. One is why we discuss systemic reviews and meta-analysis. And second, why this topic is important of whether to use single-step media or sequential for blastocyst development. So as we all know that systemic reviews and meta-analysis are situated at the top of evidence pyramid, or we can simply say these are the best filtered information that any researcher or anyone looking for information can acquire. So when we talk about individual studies, the randomized controlled trials, that is the RCTs, are important because they have lesser bias. But when we talk about combined studies, then systemic reviews and meta-analysis plays a vital role. So what we do in meta-analysis, we take the data from these individual studies and combine the data and pool the data and come to a new statistical conclusion. And when we try to answer a question with this new statistical conclusion, we call this as systemic reviews. So this is for youngsters, those who have recently started reading journals or articles. You should always look towards reading systemic reviews, meta-analysis, and RCTs, those who are recent. So now coming to the topic, that is the whether we should use single step or sequential. Nowadays, lots of medias are available in the market, but they all work on two forms. One is the single step and the another is the sequential one. So what happens in the sequential, it is more physiological pattern of embryo culture. And in single step, we give everything in the media and let the embryo choose what the embryo wants. So initially in IVF, we started with single step media, but the first blastocyst was formed in the sequential one. But nowadays, with the demand of uninterrupted culture and lesser manipulations, we are again moving towards the single step media. So there is always a confusion which media we should use. So to decipher this, we have Dr. Charulata Chatterjee with us. She is one of the most known embryologists in India, and I think everybody in India in the field of IVF knows her. So for the youngsters, I want to introduce Dr. Charulata Chatterjee. She is a senior consultant embryologist at Yashoda Fertility and Research Institute, Secunderabad. She has total 26 years of experience in the medical, diagnostic, and ART field. She has total top class experience of 20 years in the field of ART. She's been trained under lots of big people like Dr. Hans Ingolf Nelson, Dr. Patrick Quinn, Dr. Catherine Rakowski, Dr. Suresh Katera, Dr. James Catt, and Dr. Joyce Harper. She has lots of publications to her credit as well. Right now, she is a mother of two happy children, and she lives in Hyderabad with her beloved husband, Devashish. So over to you, madam.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thanks for that kind introduction. And first, I would like to thank IFS, ACE, and ISAR to bring this knowledge sharing platform. And also, I would extend my sincere thanks to Cooper Surgical, our knowledge media partner, and as Gaurav said, we are discussing today a meta-analysis, which is very important for any embryologist. And today's topic is blastocyst culture using single versus sequential media in a clinical IVF, a systematic review and meta-analysis of RCTs. This meta-analysis was done in year 2016, and we'll discuss this meta-analysis. Before that, I would like to briefly explain about IVF culture media and what is single step and sequential media, because we have a different bunch of viewers, which is some quite junior and a senior. So we'll first briefly know that what are the IVF medias available. So the embryo culture is a component of in vitro fertilization where resultant embryos are allowed to grow in an artificial medium. And we all know that from 1978, when the first baby was born, till today, there is lots of advancement happen in field of ART, either it in terms of culture media, in terms of instrumentation, in terms of disposable or infrastructure. So advancement is to get a better success rate. And IVF culture media is one of the main point to be considered into the IVF laboratory, which success depends on the blastocyst formation rate, and ultimately the IVF success rate depends on that. So that is what we are going to discuss today. So what does media do and how to evaluate the IVF media? As we know that media feeds the cell and it controls the environment. To evaluate the media, the embryologist...
Can I interrupt for a minute? Can you please
Sure.
go on the presentation mode, ma'am?
Sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right? Okay. So for evaluation of media, we check the fertilization rate, the cleavage rate, the blastocyst rate, implantation rate, pregnancy rate, sometimes cumulative pregnancy rate in the fresh and frozen cohort. And the most important with this is a normal healthy child. As we know that there are many variation in the IVF laboratory, and it is said that there are more than 200 variables which need to be controlled for the better outcome. And that I have divided into the three parts: a direct contact, indirect contacts, and the equipment. In the direct contact, the culture media is the main. After that, we have the ICSI needles and cryopreservation solution. Indirect contact, we have tubes, pipette, incubators. Equipment, of course, plays a major role. And the gases, the incubators, air quality is also a role. And on top of that, protocols and operators is also very, very important. The history, if you see that in 1968, the fertilization of mouse eggs happened, and then in 1993, the first simple optimization media had formulated. Once the formulation of media is done, we have to know the physiology of the pre-compaction and the post-compaction embryo. In the pre-compaction stage, when the embryo is in oviduct, there is a maternal genome. There is energy source is a pyruvate, and the amino acid needs also vary. But once it is reaches into the uterus, it is a glucose-based metabolism. The embryonic genome is activated, and the amino acid needs also varies. Based on this, the IVF media is formulated. And this table, the concentration of these various ingredients has been highlighted. So based on this, the components of IVF basal media is a buffer, which plays a major role to maintain the pH, the osmolarity, that provides nutrients and energy. And initially, the phenol red was added as a pH indicator. Energy substrate is either glucose, pyruvate, or lactate. Amino acids, antibiotics, vitamins, surfactants, protein supplements, and trace elements. So these are the basal components. Previously, there was a media like simple media and the complex media. The simple media like EBSS and the complex media is TCM. But this was not useful for the human embryos, and that's why the need has occurred to which media to be used for the culture the IVF embryos. And the single step media and the sequential media. Single step media, concentration of all the ingredients is in tolerable ranges. So embryo itself will adapt and utilize whatever they need. But whereas in a sequential media, based on it mimic the in vivo condition, the concentration of carbohydrates and the amino acids varies from fertilization to blastocyst media. The back to nature media is based on the Gardner, Poole, Queen associate co-workers, whereas Biggers and all that, they have worked on the single step media, that is let the embryo choose. Now, coming to when we are using this media, there are three strategies. Even if we are using the single step media, either we renew on the previous stage on day 2 or day 3, or it is uninterrupted till day 5 to day 6. Whereas in sequential media, we do changes. Yes, please.
Madam, the slide is not moving. We are stuck to one slide only.
But here I am going
Actually, you have done now, madam. You have to go at the bottom and do it again.
Just a minute.
So, ma'am, you can just stop the sharing and reshare and go on the presentation mode.
Sure.
That will help.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is totally a new setup today. It is not my routine setup. Okay. So the strategies I had been discussed, that it is interrupted, uninterrupted, or sequential, it is always we use. The area of concern between two media is glucose to be added or not, the role of amino acids, and the EDTA. So when there are two thought of schools for every this media composition. So in the single strand media, the thought of school is that glucose is very much needed for the pentose phosphate pathway. So glucose inhibition is not at all required. So the glucose should be added in such a manner that embryos will take whatever it is required. In the sequential media, first is pyruvate and then it is a glucose media. Coming to the amino acids, the amino acid need is there absolutely. It works as an energy source, it is antioxidants, and it is also enhance the embryo development. And the animal model study says that if media is without amino acid, even if for 5 minutes, it disrupts the normal imprinted expression of H19. It can also change the methylation status. So amino acids is very much needed. The main concern here with amino acid is the non-essential amino acid, which is L-glutamine. When we added this L-glutamine into the media, it breaks down into the ammonium, and that alters the blastocyst development and sometimes gene expression. The cellular health of blastocyst also be affected. So how do we overcome this problem when we are using the single step media? So these days, it has been replaced with a stable dipeptide form of glutamine, which is alanine glutamine, and it has the problem is solved, so that breakdown of ammonium and the toxic effect is overruled. So this has been changed into the amino acid sequence. Coming to the EDTA is also a chelator, and the EDTA inhibits premature utilization of glycolysis at cleavage stage embryo, and thereby it can prevent the Crabtree-like effect. So this concentration, either it is a single step or a sequential, EDTA is there, but the concentration of EDTA changes. So because in the sequential media, they thought that the concentration can cause the less blastocyst. So concentration should be different into the fertilization and into the blastocyst media. So this is what I have explained about the IVF culture media. Now we are discussing about this meta-analysis. The purpose of this meta-analysis was to check the clinical efficiency and safety of the single versus sequential media, and whether after this meta-analysis, whether we have some robust conclusion or not. So that was the main purpose having of this meta-analysis. In this meta-analysis, all the RCTs has been included, and there is oocyte or zygote based review or a woman based review. The information gathered by Cochrane, PubMed, and the various studies RCTs done. The source what is done is the variables, that is funding source, period of enrollment, and inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, etc. For women-based review, the primary outcome was measured as live birth rate, whereas secondary outcome was a miscarriage rate. For oocyte or zygote-based review, the primary outcome was a blastocyst formation, and the secondary outcome was a top quality blastocyst. For any meta-analysis, there is always a risk of bias in the studies. So like that, in this study also, there are many risks of bias like selection bias, performance bias, detection bias, reporting bias. So based on this bias, the 3 category has been done. There's a low risk of bias, high risk of bias, and unclear risk of bias. If you synthesis of this result has been done with the manager 5.3, and the results what they have included is in this study total 528 records were included, but after this 528 studies, 508 has been excluded after reading the titles and abstracts. 145 were declared duplicates, 363 were not meeting the eligible criteria. Ultimately, there was only 23 studies which has been included for this meta-analysis. In this 23 also, 2 studies were omitted because they have used a different oxygen percentage, and 1 study was used fertilization media and a cleavage stage media, not the cleavage and the blastocyst media. In that 20 studies, 10 study was randomized on oocyte and zygotes, and 2 studies were randomized on the women-based review. Based on this bias, what I have told earlier, the low risk, unclear risk, and high risk bias was also examined. These are the tabular form that which is the study, the enrollment, eligibility criteria, the culture condition, either single or a sequential, and the author's conclusion. So these are all the 23 studies, 20 studies or which has been included. Now coming to the result part, it has been observed that no difference were observed between single and sequential media for ongoing pregnancy rate. So ongoing pregnancy rate is same between 2 medias. And this is a tabular form, the right and left side, and the forest graph was done. Now studies in the quantitative analysis, on the randomization of the woman part, the 2 studies says that there is no difference in the blastocyst rate, implantation rate, and pregnancy rate. When they studied the randomization on the oocyte or zygote base, out of that 10 studies, 5 studies says that there is a better blastoation rate with the use of single cell media. And 1 study says that if you renew the media on the cleavage stage, they observe the 50% improved blastocyst rate. The 3 studies says it is similar blastocyst rate with both the medias, and 1 study indicate that is a better blastocyst rate with the sequential media. The studies done without quantitative analysis, randomization of women, 2 studies, 1 says a better blastocyst rate with the single step media, but again the pregnancy rate remains same. Whereas for the randomization of oocytes and zygotes, 6 studies, out of that 2 has a better blastocyst rate with the single step media, and 4 has a same blastocyst rate. And these are the results made into the table form. So coming to for this meta-analysis, the discussion, it is insufficient evidence to support the superiority of any medias based on this analysis and ongoing pregnancy rate. However, increased blastocyst rate was observed into the single step media. But again here the quality of the blastocyst was not mentioned. When we think that there is a blastocyst rate is better, definitely there are more blastocysts to be frozen, and there are more cumulative pregnancy rate into the FET cycles. But that cumulative data was missing for this studies. And and fetal growth, birth weight, perinatal outcome, born children growth study was also not done in this RCTs. The media, whether it is renewed or not, it has also been not clear, but having a more blastocyst rate in a single step media, the reason probably may be because when it is uninterrupted with the use of stable dipeptide L-alanine, the build-up ammonium is minimum. And embryo, when it is secreted autocrine paracrine factors, probably it is a reduced stress on the embryo. That's why the blastocyst rate is maybe better with the single step media, and when it is uninterrupted, there is less handling errors. So this is about this meta-analysis, what the topic what we are discussing today. The same thing has been observed in the 2015 and the Cochrane analysis that done on the culture media for human pre-implantation embryo, and it also concludes, the author conclusion says that there is a less evidence to give the concrete evidence that one media is superior over other media. So that Cochrane analysis also gives the same results. Now, there is one more meta-analysis is done in the year of 2017 by the Brazil group, and they have checked which media is better when they are doing this meta-analysis. But in these studies, of course, they have done 128 cycles. After that, only 14 cycles has been included in this study. But here the problem with this study is they have included cleavage stage transfer and blastocyst stage transfer. So we cannot, see that cleavage stage transfer when it is single step media, we cannot conclude. So that's why this study I am not completely relying. There is one more study in the year of 2018, and this also concludes that with the single step media, the blastocyst rate is better, but the cumulative pregnancy rate is similar. The beauty for this study is they have checked the euploid status by PGTA and check the media, this thing. So there's a quite good number of oocyte retrievals been studied, 1720 cycles, where in 778 cycles reached to the blastocyst stage when they have used the continuous media, and 387 cycles reached to the blastocyst stage with the sequential stage media, and 208 after that 778, 206 cycles underwent the PGTA euploid status, and in 387 the 86 cycle has been done for the euploid status. Here it is only for aneuploidy. The other reason for pre-implantation genetic diagnosis has not been included, and any paternal reason was also not included in this study. So it is purely to check the euploid status, and it indicates the same result with PGTA or without PGTA. The fertilization rate and blastocyst rate is, of course, blastocyst rate is little better with that, but cumulative pregnancy rate is similar with single step or a sequential, and with PGTA definitely, which is euploid embryo when you are transferring, there are little more pregnancy rate, but a comparison to single step and a sequential with the this PGTA cycle pregnancy rate is also same. Here in this study, there was no changeover done with single step media. The improved euploidy rate in a single step media is observed, but again with the euploidy status is same when it is, they have considered the biopsy, total biopsy blastocyst. So when biopsied embryo they have compared, it is the same euploid status, and there is a pregnancy rate and live birth rate is similar in both the group. The same studies has been done with another group, and they have checked this is RCT, and they've checked the single step media and sequential step media, and they've done the euploid status by PGTA. But this group says that there is a better yield with blastocyst with sequential stage media, but the main conclusion remains same, that pregnancy rate and live birth rate is same with the sequential or a single step media. This paper is nothing to do with the meta-analysis, but that what I have included in here for the discussion is because when we are doing the IVF culture media with embryo culture media, there are many factors which plays an important role to have the good quality blastocyst. That is temperature, humidity, gas control, pH, workstations, incubators, and handling, and all that. So this consensus has given all that 50 guidelines in this paper, so anyone can read and have their own SOP in the lab. These are the contributor list. The main thing what I want to other also include that we have checked the euploid status of the embryo, we have checked the pregnancy rate, the live birth rate, but when we are using the IVF media, the main ingredient of this, that buffer. So we are using HAPIS buffer, or we are using that bicarbonate buffer. So the pH, that buffer plays an important role in electron transport and photophosphorylation. So now the studies has been done with the different kind of buffers like HAPIS, MOPS, PBS, TIS, and DIPSO. So the study says that these are the embryo cell development in this graph what has included. So HAPIS, MOPS, and DIPSO gives the good results. And one study says that when we are using the combination of the buffer, the embryo development is better. But we do not know because the disclosure of composition from the media company, it is not clear. So there are many non-declared proteins, who knows what they are adding into the media. So this is a ACE consensus about the culture system. So what points I want to everyone to be considered, that there should be a more RCTs and meta-analysis to have the robust conclusion, to know the better media, that which media gives the better outcome. The consensus should be made, the disclosure on the composition, and we all should focus more on risk like epigenetic effects of the culture media, because ultimately it is our responsibility that what media we are using and the babies are born after this media. So we have, as an embryologist, I feel that we should minimize the stress in vitro by having work quickly. The culture condition, whatever we are using, we should know that which media we are using and how to use and when to change over, and whatever we are using, that has to be the standard operating procedure, and we are ready to adapt for the change if any media is giving the better result. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Charulata Chatterjee, for the comprehensive talk. I think you made it very clear that the evidence are still not clear whether we should use single-step media or sequential media. We don't know which media is superior to the other one. And there is no difference in the ongoing pregnancy rate and the live birth rate. Although the study suggests that the blastulation rate is high with the single-step media, but the top quality blastulation rate is same in single-step media and the sequential media. The most important thing which you said is the evidence are of low quality. So we need more evidences and data to talk about live birth rate, miscarriage rate, the neonatal outcome, to be more confident about which media we should use.
Very
so, Madam,
true.
when I was, so Dr. Charu, when I was reading this article, I found one issue. So during the randomization of the oocyte, a few studies, 2 or 3 studies, uses the trigas incubator, while others have not used. Although it has been proved that by using trigas incubator, you have the higher blastulation rate and the higher live birth rate. So how you see this as a bias in the study?
Yeah, definitely. See, few studies, that's why few papers are not included. There was one meta-analysis done from 1980 to till date. But when Trigos was introduced into IVF culture media, we have to check any RCTs has been done, which either done in the time lapse or a Trigas. So that bias has to be also considered.
Right.
Definitely.
And second, one of the most important study which I also saw is the Summit trial. The same year in which this RCT or the meta-analysis was published, the other group, D. Warmer, published another Summit trial, which talks about just completely opposite to it, that you have a higher usable blastocyst with the sequential media, that the euploidy rate is same in both the groups. But if you talk about the usable blastocyst with
Yeah, so
euploidy,
utilization, absolutely true. The utilization of embryo, there are a conflict of papers. That's why I've included two papers which has done the euploidy status also. One paper state that blastoation rate is better with the single step media. The other paper says that there is a blastoation, but ultimately what we want is a pregnancy rate and the live birth rate. So it is not very clearly mentioned. And there are many bias in that absolutely when we are using the trigas also, what percentage of O2 they have used.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You should not go to 2%. Huh? 3
Yeah.
to 3.5% is okay. Don't go too strong with it. So, Dr.
So you have
Charulata,
said that in this study also, when it is started with 256, ultimately we in the meta-analysis with the forest plot, there are only 20 studies.
yeah, they end up with the very few studies. Although in 2 they randomize the women and 10 they randomize the oocytes.
Yeah, right.
So, Madam, I wanna ask a personal question. That do you change the media or renew the media? What is your take about it? Have you read any study about it?
Change media in the single step.
Yeah, in the single step, definitely yes.
See, and now the personal, my experience is that, you know, nowadays everyone is doing a group culture and the droplet media. So when I feel that when you are using a droplet culture and group culture, we should not include both. When we are using the droplet, it should be minimum 30 microliter to maximum 50 microliter, and 3 to 4 oocytes or zygotes has to be cultured. So if it is a 50 microliter droplet, then uninterrupted, there is no change into the blastoation rate. I have done few sibling oocytes also, but when droplets is same and we, you know, have the group culture, definitely it is going to affect. So
yeah, I very correctly said, madam. I just want to quote one study with this. There is a very known man, Dr. Nuno Costa Burgos from Spain, and he did a study in 2016, and he used a single step media in 628 PMs, right? And he used a single step media. And what he did, in one group, he changed the media on day 3, and in the other group, he didn't. And at the end, he found that there was no difference in the blastulation rate and the top quality blastulation rate. I'm saying this
absolutely,
because I've seen lots of people getting worried about changing the media or single step media on day 3. We
right.
have to go with evidence that it is not recommended. Now we have to trust the more stable amino acids. Those are with us now.
Yes.
So,
Fine.
madam, yeah, I have one question. So, is there any disadvantage of extending the embryo to blastocyst?
With
I'm saying because there is a recent paper by Joyce Harper published in
right.
2020 that says that if you extend the embryo to blastocyst, they have a higher chances of preterm birth and the birth weight has increased.
So this is a different, that will be another, you know, topic to debate, that whether we need a cleavage stage transfer or the blastocyst stage transfer. We are not including in this topic, we are just including the IVF culture media. And when we are checking about single step media and sequential, definitely it should be a blastocyst, right? Because a sequential media is not for the cleavage, means we culture till blastocyst. The topic of today is that, maybe probably Shipra, note it down, the next topic, whether cleavage stage or stage, which is best.
So one thing I also want to know, is there a difference in the aneuploidy rate when we use a single step and the sequential media? What is what do you have
see, that study should be done here, and euploidy states that they have said that is same. So
just have read one study by J. Dang, and that been published in 2020 in Journal of Assisted Reproduction and Genetics, and that says that it is again very reverse of what you have said. It says that there is a higher aneuploidy rate in single step media, that is around 44.5%. And it is lesser in sequential, 36.4%. So again, we
So,
don't know which media we should use, single step or the sequential.
now what could be the probable reason as per you that the euploidy status is more into the sequential media or aneuploidy is more? What is the reason?
It is more in the single, madam. Probably we are increasing the stress on the embryo. That's why, by giving the pyruvate at not a right time, giving the glucose not at a right time, the epigenetic factors which could be there.
But
So that's
maybe
why,
to conclude that more RCTs has to be done, and at least on the sibling oocytes also, or main that what affects the euploidy status on the embryo. So it is still, you know, cannot conclude very raw, means concrete with analysis that no, this media is having a more aneuploidy. Otherwise,
in my lab, I use both media to be on a sequence side. I use single
Yeah.
step and sequential both. So I cannot simply rely on one media. Being very open
absolutely,
to you,
everyone has the experience working with both the medias. So that is the conclusion has been given, and when the few studies has been done on medias and all that, of course that after the Gardner, before the we had when we have started, it was only a cleavage stage transfer. We were not going till blastocyst, sometimes out of fear, sometimes patient centric, sometimes like now with all the advancement, we are pretty sure that we'll have some blastocyst in the hand with the improved culture conditions and trigas and all that. So definitely it has added into the better success rate.
So there is a question by Anonymous, and it says that, is there any, have you seen collapse and or contractions in the blastocyst on day 5? How it is relevant to the live birth rate?
Oh, collapse. So like generally when now all the clinics have the freeze-all criteria. Okay. So we know, like in my clinic, we have all freeze-all policy. Very rarely we go for the fresh cycle, fresh embryo transfer. And when we are when we are freezing the blastocyst, we know that which blastocyst has to be frozen. So we do not wait till it collapses, and sometimes they in the blastocyst freezing vitrification also, it is, if it is collapse, it is the warming is better. So either it is collapse or not collapse, we freeze the blastocyst and revive, and so there is no change into the pregnancy rate or the live birth rate.
Means you don't separate, you just freeze them up.
I freeze only single blast on one cryo device, because for me, in my clinic, we prefer single embryo transfer until and unless the patients ask for the double blastocyst, because we do not want multiple pregnancy.
There is a paper by Stephanie Smeltzer, published in 2019. She says that by adding every blastocyst, you increase the chances of live birth rate by 18%. Till you put the 5 blastocysts. So probably we don't have to follow that. We have to follow the ASRM guidelines. That one euploid blastocyst is enough. So there is a question, madam, by Pooja Mishra, and she wants to know, is there any combination with dry incubator, humidified incubator with one-step media or sequential media for better to use? Which type of incubator we
see, there is one study, one paper, now I do not remember in which year has been come, but there is one paper done, comparative study between dry incubator and humidified incubator, and they observed that with humidification the blastocyst rate is better than the dry incubator, dry gas.
Yeah, you're right, madam. There's a study which says that if you use a humidified, there are robust studies, lots of studies which talks about when you use a humidified incubator, you probably have a higher.
My personal experience also says that humidification, because I have used the K system and I have used the humidifying, like I do not want to name, but both the system, and I have also observed that though there is a temperature is same like 360 degree, but when humidification is there, the better outcome is there.
Right, ma'am. Okay. Last time I was actually listening to Dr. Varsha Samson Roy and Gaurav Majumdar, and they were talking about the day 5, day 6, and day 7 blastocysts and the outcome related to that. So, do you also use day 6 and day 7 blastocysts?
Day 6, of course, I have used and had some comparison between day 5 and day 6. But day 7 so far I have not frozen.
Yeah.
Because generally now when study is there, I do keep the dishes, but I don't think anything I have observed on the day 7. Mainly day 5 or day 6. When there is day 5 is not there, then we prefer for the day 6 transfer.
So you start with the day 5 transfers first, and you then go to day 6 transfers.
Yeah.
Have you being very true? Have you seen studies, live birth rate or the pregnancies with the day 6 transfers? What's your take on it?
See, there is probably I have done that study, but now I do not remember between day 5 and day 6. But generally, having with better blastocyst rate on the day 5 and having good number of blastocysts, the study is having a very limited number. So because the turn won't come that we transfer the day 6 embryo.
Right.
If it is for 10 or 20 numbers, it cannot be statistically, we can say it is significant that day 6 is, you know.
There is a question by Dr. Harsha Bhatkar. She is asking how you transfer the day 6, fresh or frozen?
Of course, mine is all if it is freeze-all cycle. So it is always.
So, yes, Dr. Harsha, yes, we all know that whenever you get the blastocysts on day 6 and day 7, we have to freeze it. And whenever you're planning to transfer it, you have to transfer it like a day 5 embryo. You have to prepare the endometrium.
Prepare the endometrium in that way that it has, synchronization better.
You have to treat a day 6 blastocyst like a day 5 blastocyst. It's your own child. So prepare the endometrium like that. Nice, madam.
Yeah. So, like what about all the analysis or RC? There are many papers in the, and it always says so we have to do our own homework and establish our own standards that which gives a better results. But when we are using the commercially available media, sometimes the availability, sometimes we have the batches availability, all that. So we need to check medias. Harsha is giving some question.
For compacted day 5 embryo, what you will do? She is asking if you get a embryo which is compacted on day 5, what you will do?
So there are only two things we can do. Either we freeze that and we culture and then we transfer, or we leave it to expand and then freeze.
So I think the better way would be let the embryo expand. At least we know the potential whether it can be a blastocyst or not.
No, I have seen few clinics that they freeze the embryo at day 4 morula stage. There are few clinics, and then they culture the embryo on day 5 because, and then they transfer. But I don't know. I'm personally, I'm not in favor to freeze the morula.
So I have done lots of morula freezing and I have found no difference in.
Yeah, difference is definitely not there. But number of morulas probably you need to freeze more, and here you have the expanded. So it is only that your mental satisfaction that yeah, we have a frozen blastocyst.
Right, madam. Right. So as we can say that it is not just the media which is responsible for the live birth rate. There are lots of factors which actually
definitely the quality of gametes is the main.
Yes, the temperature, the pH.
When juniors, I said that see, when we are responsible, if gametes are bad, we cannot do magic and have the good quality embryos. But we are responsible if gametes are good and we give the bad embryos, then it is our role. So we should not be responsible for that. So there are many factors, as I told you, it is more than 200 variables. And it starts from your Ayamma in your lab, how she cleans the lab, and your air or your VOCs, your culture system, everything.
What I say to my junior is that you should feel like an embryo first. You should
Exactly,
become an embryo
exactly.
first.
You
See how
know,
you
then
feel.
when you freeze the, I do not know how to say, but you know, the embryo talks.
Yeah, we all are
Embryo
creative.
on the cryo device, it talks. And definitely, yesterday only I have a 36 years old lady with a poor ovarian reserve. I had only 2 oocytes. She is our employee only. Her employee, she delivered a baby boy. Only 2 eggs, 2 fertilized, 1 stopped at morula stage, 1 blastocyst. Transferred, I had only 1 blastocyst. And by the time she was ready for FET, she was already 37. So I said that we'll pull the cycle. Let us go for another cycle. We have at least 2 blastocysts, and then they said no. First let us go for this, and then I'll thought. And she got pregnancy and now delivered the baby also. So it is something.
We all have lots of happy stories to tell others,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So, ma'am, I think the time is over.
Yeah, time is now.
There are
Thank
2
you,
questions
everyone.
if you may want to take. There are 2 questions in the Q&A chat if you may want to take them. And then we can close the JC.
So are we on time?
Yes, ma'am. We have some 5 minutes left, so we can.
Can you please ask the questions? I couldn't
Yes.
find them.
Yes, there is a question saying by Mr. Kamta Prasad saying, does changing the media from sequential to single step on day 3 affect the blastulation rate?
Oh, that will be a beautiful study if someone can do.
And there's another question by Mr. Samantri. He says, how can you manage the pH of sequential versus non-sequential media with Trigas incubator as well as box incubator?
I didn't get the question.
pH is already mentioned in the particular media that which pH range it tolerates. Plus you have to see your sea level and then you have to fix your either it's a big box or a Trigas on that particular media and this. And for me, whenever the batch of media comes, I do check the pH of that media. So we are pretty sure that the range, we are in the range.
Thank you. That's
There are
it.
lots. I want to add something that there are lots of studies talks about the pH shift as well. That the media should be basic initially.
High, low, high. High,
Go
yeah.
up.
High, low, high.
It has been taken care by the sequential media basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, madam. Shipra, you want to say something?
Yes, I think thank you very much, Dr. Charulata and Mr. Gaurav for a fantastic JC. And thanks a lot for taking out the time to everyone and joining us for the Journal Club. Our next Journal Club will be on 17th and we'll keep you updated. The recording of this Journal Club will be there on our FB page in the next 2 or 3 days. You can please go online and look at the recording as well if you want. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.